So in this lesson, we are learning solving two-step inequalities. My question is 4x minus 5 is greater or equal than 23. Just like if this was an equation, I would go ahead and isolate the 4x by adding 5 to both sides, which gives me 4x is greater or equal to 28. I know that it's 4 times x, that's why I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So I will get x is greater or equal to 7. Now I have to draw a number line. So on my number line, I show 0. I show my boundary, which in this problem is 7. So the answer is the boundary. And I put a circle on my boundary, and I will color it in because I have the equal symbol. X is greater or equal to 7. So my solution set will include 7, and then 8 and 9 and 10 going to infinity. So that's the area I'm going to shade. Now I have to check to see if I did everything correctly. So on the left side of my boundary, I will pick the number 0. That's an easy number to check. So I'm going to go ahead and do 4 times 0. That gives me a 0. Bring the minus 5 down. 0 minus 5. That's negative 5. Bring the rest down. So negative 5 greater or equal to 23. And that's false. And this false matches my number line because to the left of the boundary, I did not shade. Now I'm going to check the boundary. For boundary, I do not have a choice. It's the solution that I solved in the inequality. So x is 7. I'm going to go ahead and do 4 times 7. That gives me 28. Subtract 5. That gives me 23. Greater or equal than 23. That is true because we have this little equal symbol. So that is also matching my number line because I colored inside the circle. That means 7 is included. Now to the right of my boundary, I will pick an easy small number. So I picked 10. So I'm going to go to do 4 times 10. That's 40 minus 5. Bring it down. That's 35. Bring down the rest. Greater or equal to 23. That is also true. And it matches my number line here because to the right of the boundary, I did the shading. So that means that any number in this area will be a solution. So any number in this area is a solution set. My solution set for this inequality includes 7 and any number that is greater than 7. So go ahead and write this example in your notes. So I'm going to go ahead and solve a second problem, which is very similar to my first problem. My first problem, I had 4x minus 5 greater or equal than 23. My second problem has negative 4x. So the coefficient of x is a negative number. In this case, we are going to solve the problem the same way. However, in the end, because we are dividing by a negative number, we have to switch or flip the inequality symbol. So instead of greater or equal to, it's going to be less than or equal to negative 7. This is called the golden rule of inequalities. It only applies when the coefficient of the variable is a negative number, in which case we have to multiply or divide by a negative number in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my number line. I have x less than or equal than to negative 7. So my negative 7 gets a circle. I color it in because I have this equal sign. To the left, I'm going to shade because I'm talking about x less than negative 7. So those are going to be negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10. I also noticed that this symbol of less than also shows up here, less than. So that also helps me to know that I have to shade to the left. Now the left side gets shaded, so that should come out true. When I check it, the circle is shaded in because we have the equal sign. So this also has to come out true when we check it. But the right of the boundary should come out false because we didn't check it. So I'm going to go ahead and check. For the left side, I chose negative 10. If you take a look at my work, you see that it comes out true. and that matches my number line. For the boundary, I don't really have a choice. I have to pick the boundary number, which is -7. So when I check it, it also comes out true. And then for the right, I can pick any number that's the right side of -7. I chose 0. And when I check it, you can check my work here, it comes out false, and that matches my number line. Now, if I forgot to apply the golden rule of inequalities, if I forgot to flip the inequality symbol, if I kept it as greater than or equal to -7, I would have shaded the right side. And in that case, this right side would have come out true, but when we check it, it comes out false. So it would have been a mismatch between these two. The number line wouldn't match the checking. So if that happens, that is a red flag for you to know that you probably forgot the golden rule of inequalities. So something to just keep in mind, golden rule of inequalities only applies when we have a negative coefficient. It can be -4, or it can be like -1/4. It can be decimal or fraction, it doesn't matter. But if it's negative, we are going to apply the golden rule of inequalities, which is flipping the inequality symbol. So the number line and the checking will match. So go ahead and copy this in your notes as your notebook. You want to put this example, the first one, on one page. Nice and clear, do not cram it. And then you want to put the second example on the next page. Again, do not cram it, and put all the explanation that you think you may need. You can write them down in the margin. And if you go to IXL for extra practice, in grade 7 IXL, the skill is U7 and U8. Those two are the skills that will help you practice solving and graphing two-step inequalities. Grade 7, skill U7 and U8. I hope this helps. Thank you.